Now, the recent appreciation of the Ghanaian cedi from 13 cedis 90 pesos at the end of 2024 to 12 cedis 24 pesos to the US dollar as of Tuesday, May 20, according to the Bank of Ghana data, has sparked sharp debate between the ruling NDC government and the opposition NPP. Now, while the NDC credits its economic policies for the turnaround, the NPP insists that external factors, not deliberate government action, are responsible for the city's gains. The core of the debate is whether the current administration deserves credit for the city's recovery or if the appreciation reflects global dynamics outside the government's control. Now, to explore these issues, we are joined by Honorable Attah, Issah, Member of Parliament for Sagnarigu and a Member of Parliament's Finance Committee. Thank you very much, Honorable. You're welcome.
Thank you for the opportunity and good evening to you all.
Well, good evening.
And to the viewers.
Very well. Now, let's just go straight to the conversation. How significant is this recent appreciation, and how would you compare this, trend under previous governments?
Okay, so first of all, as to how significant it is, I'm sure if you are following, the trade unions and the transport companies are beginning to reflect the current trend in terms of pricing.
Right.
And we are told that transport fares are expected to be reduced by 15% on 24th of May.
Yeah.
So this simply means that the people are actually getting the full benefits of the appreciation of our cedi against the major trading currencies. And then the second issue too is that if you have observed over the past few days, you realize that for the past 4 windows, in terms of pricing of fuel, it has been on decline, which is significant because BDCs buy refined crude from foreign countries and they use the dollar to buy those refined oil. So if you have your cedi performing more against the dollar, it simply suggests that it will bring the price of fuel down. So if you go to the pump, the ex-pump prices you realize that the cost of fuel has also been reducing. And generally, our expectation is that not only in transport fares, because in the build-up of price of goods and services, one thing that they factor in is the price of fuel and then the price of transport. So our expectation is that once those things are coming down, the general impact of goods and services should reflect the current economic gains that we are making. As to how we can relate it to same time last year, you realize that same time last year, the cedi was doing around 15.97 and interbank rate. So if we are now doing it at 12.24, it simply means that there's a complete reduction. This is not to water down the impact of sustainability as to how feasible we can sustain such a strength we see in our cedi against the major trading currencies. The issue of politicizing this discussion, I don't think it was even worth it, because whatever your economic policies generated, it resulted in an exchange rate of 16 Ghana cedis. So as to whether MPP contributed to it or not, the outcome of the 2024 election was enough for us to know how they manage this country. And the end-year inflation, end-year exchange rate, end-year fuel prices were all at higher side. So this clearly shows that the impact of government policies is playing a significant role. For me, this reduction that we are expecting recently is not only due government policies, it's just a combination of our domestic policies, interventions that we are doing. Also, global economic factors are also part of it, which I'm sure we'll discuss. And then that of the strategic interventions made by the Bank of Ghana is also playing a key role in this.
So let's just go straight into what the driving forces are, the government policies and also the convergence of external issues as well.
Yes, and coming to that, one thing we've noticed, or I'm sure you have noticed, is that when the MPP is only interested in taking responsibility when the thing is looking good, but once it is not good, they never take responsibility. So I'm not surprised that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia said credit should be given to the MPP. But when we deal into the issue very well, you will know whether we should give the credit to them or not. To be fair, you cannot discount the impact of the debt restructuring program that was undertaken by the previous government in terms of the fulfilling the IMF conditionalities. Because Ghana, after the external creditors negotiations, will save almost $4 billion. So if we were to pay $4 billion of our national currency, you realize that there would have been pressure on our city. So for that being forgiven, simple means that there's some level of relief that we'll get from that end. So for that matter, the debt restructuring program that was instituted by the previous government played a role. But critical among this is that we must also learn that the strategic interventions made by the Bank of Ghana is the leading factor. In April this year alone, the Bank of Ghana injected, look, in April, the cedi was still trading at 15.35 Ghana cedis. The Bank of Ghana injected $490 million into the forex market. And overnight, the same day it was released, the dollar decreased from 15.35 against the cedi to 14.91 in one day. And right now, what depreciation simply means is that you are using more cedis chasing few dollars. So once there's more dollars in the forex market, it simply means that people can get dollars to trade. So the Bank of Ghana released $490 million, contributed significantly to the relative stability that we are seeing in our forex market. And then the second one, too, is the fiscal discipline by government. If you observe, first of all, the downsizing of size of government contributed a lot in terms of the savings that we are making with procurements and award of contracts and all those things, has slowed our public expenditure, and that brings some level of easing onto the public purse. So fiscal consolidation, and in fact, those holding dollars out there should be careful, because once we start rolling out these amendments that we did to the Public Procurement Act that mandates commencement authorization from the finance minister, it means that there will be that level of tightening of the fiscal loopholes. So for that matter, the fiscal consolidation effort of government is playing a critical role. Then the gold reserves accumulation. Let's not discount that. I hear people saying that we should credit the gold purchase program by Dr. Baumia. Look, same time last year, the total export volumes of gold to our international partners was just 8.78 tons. This year, April before this May, April 25th, the total volumes of gold had increased from 8.78 tons to 31 tons. And also, same time last year, the end price of gold at the international market, the spot rate. But
Honorable, let me find out from you. There have also been concerns and criticisms of sustainability of this appreciation. Now, a lot of people believe that if the government begins payment of debts and other fiscal obligations, we may not see the cedi as we see it today. What is your assessment of this?
Yes, it is always good to be cautious, like I indicated in my opening statement, that our concern now primarily is how to sustain this, because it is not important. Look, once your country currency is not stable, it makes planning difficult. And they factor in the uncertainties in the price build-up. So for me, those raising those concerns are legitimate. It just puts us on the toes that we must be watching the space. And I think that communication and monitoring of the international space. I was coming to talk about look, currently, the US dollar has depreciated cumulatively against all currencies by 10%. In fact, 2 days ago, S&P downgraded the US currency. So it tells you that globally, too, it played a major role on the appreciation we are seeing. So it means that as a country, we must reflect on diversifying our exports to make sure that if the U.S. is able, because Donald Trump just woke up one day and imposed tariffs on countries. So if they are able to, let me say, if they are able to come back to the original tariff position, it means that the market will adjust itself. So how will that impact on our city? So it means that government, as a government, we need to diversify our exports to make sure that we don't rely on the failures of another government, by making sure that we develop more export-earning commodities. Gold prices is surging, cocoa prices has increased, and then oil is decreasing. So
would you say that it's early days yet, so we may want to tread cautiously and not be overly excited?
We should be excited, but cautious. And the reason why I'm just saying that we should be cautious is because we need to look at our past so that we don't go back there again. Look, when this cedi began appreciating, that was when I got to know that people were indeed worried about those things, because people were happy. So it means that once we have a very stable currency, people will be happy with that. So
anyway, now you go back to Parliament on May 27.
Yeah.
How has it been so far?
So far, so
what
good.
Feedback have you been receiving from your constituents?
Very impressive.
They're happy with you?
Yes. In fact, over the weekend, I was very engaged in my constituency. I think I launched an 800,000 Ghana cedis educational fund, and also inaugurated or commissioned a 3-unit JSS block for my community.
Awesome.
And then cut sort for construction of maternity ward for my hospital.
You've been busy.
Yes, so it's been quite tight. But I know that we will be coming back strong to play our oversight responsibility over the executive.
Right.
But I'm sure you are aware that so far no scandal like that. So we just hope that things will continue that way.
We pray so too. Honorable Attah is a member of Parliament for Sagnarigu. Thank you very much for your time.
I'm grateful.